Yeah, it is the movies, but we're not screen testing the hard drives. Yeah. So neither of my, but the reason the other drive was not mounted was because Sierra cannot mount Apple file system. That's why my existing boot drive on an SSD. I've got, so Doug, it's showing me 2 SSDs. So that's, hopefully I can edit this movie down to, is working right now so far, which means it's being read, which means we didn't damage the board so far in such a way as to prevent the reading of that drive. That's really good news. Maybe we damaged the board, hopefully not, but maybe we damaged it in such a way as to prevent the reading of the second drive. We don't know yet. We need to find that out first before we... November 16th, 2017, Thursday. Open this up. This is an SSD, but it's very light, and it's 2 terabytes of data it's capable of holding. And what I'm in the process of doing, I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to write down the serial number. It's 2 black screws are needed. It's 2 black screws that looks like go in that end. This is the cable, but it'll be used. It's the only option for plugging in the Vantech 2.5-inch enclosure. In this enclosure here, we've got some more screws. I'm going to put those here where I can keep track of them. Now, right here, that's what I thought. Yeah, the B end of a USB 3.1. The B end of is a very thin connector. It's a different shape from what we're used to seeing in USB 3.0. It's a bit curly. It has a curly aspect in some parts of it. There, maybe you can see it. Yeah, it has a sort of 2 sections and has some rounded edges in it. It's a thin connector. And then there's the other aspect of at the front of this, or the back of it. I guess it's the back, or is it the front? It is looking like the front. It has a connector and it has a light. The light is on the other side. There's the light. But what I want to do, though, yeah, this is what I wanted to know, because I'll be plugging this in. It'll be plugged into USB 3.0 because it's got a blue end on that connector, and that's the Type A 3.0 connector, but it's a USB 3.1. So now USB 3.1 can be delivered through a Thunderbolt or a Type C connector also, which is it's a symmetrical oval-shaped connector, not like either of these. I opened up this box, which doesn't have any screws in it yet. It's just an enclosure. See? Inside it, that's the interesting part of it. That's the guts of it. That's the part that makes it work. You've got your SATA connector to connect your drive. SATA 3 point, or yeah, SATA 3. SATA 3, which is 6.0 gigabits per second. It's not SATA 3 point anything. It's just SATA 3, round number 3. And it's not 3.0 gigabits per second either. It's 6 gigabits per second if it's SATA 3. And hopefully that's what this is. But SATA 3 operates at 6 gigabits per second. But USB 3.1 operates at, or can operate at 10 gigabits per second. But of course, SATA 3 doesn't support any more than 6 gigabits per second. So there's not much point in plugging it in to a USB 3.1 since it's a SATA drive, because USB 3.0 can do 5 gigabits per second, which is almost the same as 6, which is the SATA speed for SATA 3. So that's why it comes with this type of connector. In the future, will it ever come with a higher? I think the reason is because if it came with a USB 3.0 connector, it would run possibly at a lower speed, because it would be only 5, but you're only going to get 5 gigabits per second through a USB port, through a 3.0 USB port. However, I mean, that's called USB 3.0, or it's also called USB 3.1 Generation 1. whereas the higher speed is USB 3.1 generation 2, which is 10 gigabits per second. Interesting new considerations. One of which is probably we don't want to fill it up too soon because it'll work more efficiently with writing large files if it's not full. But I suspect that that's just my initial prejudice or my initial perception, and that's probably not going to be the case. It's probably not going to be a problem, and they can last for some of these devices. Like one of them in a different form factor, there was Intel was giving a 10-year guarantee. Wasn't this type of form? This is not made by Intel, but a different form factor, which is one of the M2 form factors, and those drives write even faster than this. The other thing, this drive writes very fast, much faster than a spinning disk, and reads much faster than a spinning disk. That's the reason, really, why we like the performance of this device. Its ruggedness, performance are superior to a spinning disk. I don't think this fits because I can see that it's starting to engage, but look, I haven't cleared the end of it yet. If I do get it in, how am I going to get it out? There. Did I break it though? Also has 4 screw holes on the back of it. In addition to on the edges of it, it's got these four holes. 1, 2, and 3, 4. I'm just going to screw this in. Now, if I didn't break the connector, it should work. That's the thing. Is it going to go in? What is it? What's wrong with it? Oh, it's not going. I see. It's just not in far enough. Yeah, the drive wasn't far enough, pushed in far enough to engage the screw. There we go. That's good. Just don't tighten it too much yet. So it's very simple. But now that I've got one screw in, it's going to be very easy because it's going to be the drive will be pushed pulled by the screw. At one end. The other end's in the connector, so it's being held in. But you need to hold. See the connector. I put the screw at this end, and the connector's at that end. This is where the screw is. So now it's pretty well flat against the case where the screws are going to go. So I can put another screw in the same end, and it should engage, and it does. Don't tighten it too much. And they give me 5 screws, 5 silver, which is 4 plus the 1 extra, and they give me 3 black, very tiny screws, which is the same as. I'm going to take these silver screws and just lay them down inside my little tray, and I'm going to seal this up again. I don't want to lose those black screws before they're actually going in. They're very small. I'll have to change the Phillips screw head on this too. Now this has got to go into the circuit board. This is very unusual. It's got a copper connector. I'm screwing it. This is the ground. This is how it's being grounded. It's very interesting. I don't want to break the circuit board at all. It's got to be tight. Now I can pick that up maybe with the screwdriver. No, it's not that magnetic. These screws might not be very magnetic because they're chrome plated. Chrome is not magnetic. Nickel's not magnetic anyway. And nickel's an element in chrome. But what happens is the steel underneath the chrome is magnetic, so as long as you get the screwdriver already inside the screw, engaged with it, it will actually hold it as a magnet does. See, I'm just feeling how tight it is. I don't want to over tighten. I always want to just tighten it just to the point of resistance and not any further. Just a little bit of resistance and then a little bit more. Not much. So there we go. That's it. We've got 4 screws. Did I tighten? No, I didn't tighten the other 2. Now I'll tighten these 2. Now this is a plastic case. I can't tighten these, okay? I'll break the case. If I tighten these too much, it's made of plastic. I can feel it. Isn't it? Maybe not. No. No, it's thin metal. It's thin metal, of course. They make everything very, very good quality. They make everything out of good metal. But I don't need to tighten too much. I won't be able to tighten it later, though. I just have to tighten it. I want to see if there's any resistance here. If I can get to where it has some good resistance. If I can't get to where there's good resistance, then I wonder whether it's really all the way tight. You know, it doesn't have to be too tight. There shouldn't be much vibration here, but I'm just going to get this a little tighter here. Okay, good. Now I'm happy. But look, the case goes on, right? And it goes this way. It's open at both ends, right? But it's going to cover, and it goes on. I think it'll go up with the device. The bottom of it has the circuit board visible. The top of it has the SSD visible. I suspect that's the top. And how do we know? Well, because the bottom maybe. Well, we want the bottom to have the serial number, whatever that is, all that information, stuff on the bottom, right? And we want to slide. It's probably not the right way around. It's not, because the screws have to go at the other end. So we turn it around. Okay, if we think the bottom is this way, screws hopefully are not going to interfere at all. But we want to slide this on, right? That won't go on, will it? No, it's not going to fit. So it may go on the other way. Possible? Possible, yeah, because this is the front. We're going to plug it, yeah. We unplug it. We put it on this way. Okay, good. We know that when we put it on, the two screw holes have to line up with the two screw holes in the end. So there's only two screw holes and they're both at the same end. So we know, while we're not sure maybe which way is up, the name of the device is here on top. That's the top. We want to put the name of the label of the device there too on top. We put that together like that. Now we have the black screws that go in. And then we can plug in the device. Well, we could have maybe put it over the cord, but I don't want to cut the cord or damage the cord. So I've got the two black screws coming next, I think. I'm going to put this together. Then I better check the instructions at some point to make sure that I didn't do something wrong. As far as, I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can put it in. The only way you can actually insert that device is by jamming it in. There. I got the two small screws, and I left one small screw and one silver screw's now back in there too. So I got two screws. There they are. Two screws. I want you to be able to see that. There we go. Still one silver and one black screw in our little plastic bag. Now I want to change the head on this Phillips. This is a very interesting Phillips. I love that Phillips head. There's another Phillips I have. I have an even smaller one. I think I might want the smallest one, which is this one. You see that? Wait a minute. Let's see if I can get this. It's a very small Phillips screwdriver. It's the smallest one I think that I have, probably. I just bought these the other day. It's a kit with Torx and some other rather very small Allen. Allen is a six-sided. It is the right size, but and they're very small screws, incredibly small. So if I didn't have this size of Phillips, I would have been using a tiny straight blade or something. Now I'm just going to put this in. See, just tightening this into that hole. There we go. I'm not going to this. Definitely, you have to be careful with the smaller ones. The smaller they are, the more careful you have to be. As far as you have to be careful with all of these, but these smaller ones you can't turn them as tightly. You can't tighten them as much as the bigger ones. So once you figure out how tightly to do one size, the smaller ones have to be done a lot more carefully and with a lot less force of turning, torque. That's the force of turning. Torque is force times the distance away from the center. So, I mean, that's about all I can do, really. So, in other words, if I was going to a little resistance with the bigger screws and then beyond a little bit, then with these screws I only go to the point of resistance and I don't go beyond. That's the difference. These screws, and I can't feel when that resistance is coming. You know, it's not as easy to tell. So you have to be very, very careful. I would say you need two varies to describe how careful you're going to be with these. So I'm loosening it again. I'm loosening to make sure that I can find out where exactly that point of resistance is, and that's where I want to be. I don't want to be beyond it. Okay, so they're smaller screws, and that's a different thing, different situation. So there we go. Now that is plugged in. This drive is ready to go. This drive is ready to go with a solid state drive inside it. It's an enclosure. I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to check the manual now. Just put away this screwdriver for a second here. Put it aside momentarily. I think I better stop the video for just a second here. We don't need to see all of that. Let's just stop that. And my iMac, which is what I'm looking at here, hopefully you'll be seeing this, it's got the old Thunderbolt, the first edition of Thunderbolt. It's got 2 ports, and each of those can manage up to 6 devices. I've got the Sonnet dock, which is a Thunderbolt input and then another Thunderbolt output, so that I can add the second device in the chain. So I may or may not have other devices. Obviously, I have this new device, which I just plugged in to the Sonnet dock, Sonnet Echo 15 Plus. Let's just call it the Sonnet dock. It has, interestingly, it has 4 USB 3.0 ports, and it has 2 eSATA ports, which are external SATA, and they just use a SATA cable. Where's that cable? I guess I put it away. I have the. Well, I can show you. I can show you this drive. Yeah, with the 3.5-inch drive, it's got the 3 lights as well and the name Vantech, but it's a bigger box. It can hold 2 3.5-inch drives, up to. I've got 2 of these units, so I can hold up to 4. 4 3.5-inch spinning discs, and they even make 3.5-inch SSDs, which are huge capacity. Possibly I could get one of those someday, who knows, but when they come down in price. But right now they're currently about $10,000 or something for some of these SSDs that are just 30 or 60 terabytes. I mean, 30 terabytes, 60 terabyte size. They run into the big numbers of dollars right at the moment, but it will definitely come down, and probably very quickly. But on the back of this, you can see this is a USB 3.0 with the blue type B connector. It's also got power switch, a DC 12 volt in for the wall plug, which is just a power a switching device that converts the AC power into DC power by taking only the upswing of the AC and then regulating it to a DC, and then it reverses the negative down surge of the AC to keep it at the same and regulate it at the same level, so that it ends up with a DC voltage. That's all that is. But they're very, they're very I mean, they didn't used to have regulated power supplies years ago. It wasn't. It's only in recent times that you can buy anything off the shelf, and they're all, as long as it has enough, the right voltage, the right polarity, plus and minus for the 2 inner and outer connector, and the right enough current. In other words, enough power, total power. Then it can. They're all the same. You can use any power adapter as long as they have all the right ingredients there. It doesn't matter what brand it is, but some are better than others in their manufacturing, and there's definitely a quality issue there. And they might fail on you if you get a cheaper one, or it might fail anyway, for that matter. But here we have an eSATA port right here. See, we have the USB, but we also have an eSATA, which is the one below the USB. So what I'm thinking is that eSATA port, I've got the cable for that because they provided it with it. It came with an USB 3.0 and also with an eSATA cable. So my Sonnet Echo has 2 eSATA ports on it, and they're both limited to 375 megabytes per second. That's right. eSATA is just like SATA. SATA 3 is limited to 6 gigabits per second. Divide 6,000 megabytes by 8 to get megabytes, you get about you get exactly 750 megabytes per second through eSATA. But each of my eSATA ports are limited to only 375, one half of that total. The way they designed this, not this box. This box is not limited in that way necessarily. But when I saw this box used, well, I shouldn't go into it too much, but I believe that the 370 might be enough. 375, the limitation of trying to write through my Thunderbolt port into this box, I'm not expecting to get more than 375. So I'm thinking I can use both of these boxes, can be each plugged into one of my eSATAs. If that works the way I like it to, then I can conserve on my other ports and just use the eSATA for that. And I can still get 375 maximum, maybe, but and 375 megabytes per second. Just for comparison, my external, I'm running in the Sonnet. I also have capacity for either one 3.5-inch hard drive or two 2.5-inch, either spinning disk or this SSDs. It doesn't matter with the 2.5-inch, but to get a good quality 2.5-inch spinning drive, it costs a fortune, probably just as much as it does to get an SSD. So, and you get a bigger SSD nowadays probably for the same money. So, the capacity of the SSD and the performance of the SSD and the durability, the ruggedness, the speed of the SSD, it's all better than the spinning disk. So we want SSDs, I think, in almost every case. But of course, where we have a very large 6 terabytes in the case of my 3.5-inch drive, that 6 terabyte drive, it would be too costly to get an SSD for that. So it's much cheaper. The price comparison there is, I think we're looking at, well, let's see. If I multiply the price, well, the standard price for SSDs, let's say, compared to the standard price, which is $1,000 for two terabytes for an SSD, and $300 for 6 terabytes for a spinning disk. So 300. So if I went to 6 for 1,000, I'd multiply 3. 2 terabytes would give 6. That would give me 3,000 compared to 300. So it's 10 times cheaper. And it's about 50 cents per gigabyte for an SSD at the standard price. I got better than that with the quality that I bought with Crucial should be and is reputed to be among the best. So it's a very, very good price I got, but I don't need to go into the specifics of that. But this, there was, or I don't need to tell you where I bought it either, but some people will know. But the other thing is this, so if it's 10 times cheaper, it's 5 cents per gigabyte for a hard drive compared to 50 cents per gigabyte for an SSD. And now the durability of the hard drive might be not as good, but I might be able to write to it for longer, more overwrites and more, use it. It might be in some ways superior to an SSD by having the advantage of it being a spinning disk, but it's probably mainly just cheaper. So that's just so now when I plugged in the SSD in the small box, remember I had to slide it in and it was jammed against the connector, but it wouldn't go down into the box until I slid it at an angle into the connector where I was afraid I might break the connector getting it in. So I wasn't sure if it would work. But when I plugged it in, this is what came on the screen. It says the disk you inserted. Hopefully you're reading this now. It says the disk you inserted was not readable by this computer. It gives me 3 options: initialize, ignore, and eject. Or eject, either of those 3. I'm going to say initialize, and that should open my disk utility and give me a chance to format it. So initialize, and sure enough, it now has highlighted the disk utility, which I'll bring onto the screen here. I have more than one monitor, and I don't believe I can record all 3 monitors simultaneously on the screens yet. I don't know how to do that, but it's okay because I can bring them. I've cleared my screen here. I'm running High Sierra, OS 10 High Sierra, 10.13.1 at the moment, which is the very, very latest Mac operating system, Mac OS High Sierra, which I got the day after it came out, I wanted to get it the day it came out, but it wasn't available at that time of day that I tried to get it. But anyway, I ended up getting it very early on, and it wasn't perfect at first. I think it's working better now. It's got some of the bugs already taken out of it, but it had already solved. Even the first version I got had solved some of the problems I had with the older version called Sierra, without the high in front of it. But I don't have time to talk about that right now. I don't think I want to get into the details here. So we've got a disk which we've now identified, right? I said initialize it, but now I'm looking for it and I don't see it. So that's, hopefully I can edit this movie down to something that's short enough to watch. Let's see. So I think that my head might be in the way. There, I'm recording video. So now you can see my face, but you can also see, yeah, you can see the screen there. Okay, so it's rebooting into the recovery system. And I got my Perrier waters there. One of which is filled with some other water, but they're both water. And one is actually Perrier, in fact. But I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go to the disk utility, continue. Okay, yeah, you can see that, I guess. Continuing to disk utility. Yeah, maybe that's not too clear at the moment. But yeah, you probably can't read that. Let's see what happens here. What disks is it capable of seeing in the recovery system? I need to take notes on this while I do it. That's the other thing. I always take notes of everything I do. I do not ever do things. So I'm going to make notes right now. Catch up on my notes here. Put this screwdriver away. Yeah. I need to get the screwdriver put away over here. And then we'll see what's happening. Okay. So let's see if it sees any new uninitialized disks here. Oh, there's something there, a disk image. Oh, that's the base system. Yeah, that's simply that's the recovery unit. It's only 2 gigabytes. But it's got disk 1. That's my Linux disk. It's got my Western Digital. I've got a couple of Western Digital drives. USB drive, another partition on the Western Digital. My other Western Digital drive, a Crucial drive, and something called disk 10, and all of these partitions on it. And then that's it. It doesn't see this drive. Strange. That's a mistake, maybe. It's what do I do now? Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't see it either. Okay, so that fails. That's all I know is that fails. So now, I think I should boot into Sierra now and try that. See whether it sees it in Sierra. That's what I'm thinking. I'll have a better chance of succeeding with that. So let's go to restart. Let me take notes now. I've got to write down what happened here. Well, I got the NST, the 270/31, isn't it? Yeah, NST. I can't remember what it's called now. There it is. Here it is. Here it is. What is it? So since neither of them works, it makes me think that there's no problem with with what I did in the first case, because neither of the situations is working. So that makes me think I inserted the drive possibly okay. It's not a problem necessarily. So I have the other drive. I'm going to write down 270A31 NST-27831-BK for black, probably. That's what that stands for. And then it has a serial number, which I should write down. Yeah. Now, it's very tempting to panic here, so that's where we have to do our utmost not to panic, because when you panic, you could do some damage that you didn't otherwise need to do. So I need to stay calm. I need to remain calm. I'm trying to remain very calm. I'm writing down the number, the serial number. Maybe I need to know the serial number of this unit because it's defective. For whatever reason, I'm writing it down. I need to take, or it's a good idea, very good idea to take good notes. Oh, now I've rebooted. And it's rebooting to the wrong thing. It's rebooting to... We'll see what happens when we reboot to High Sierra here and see whether it works or not. And then we'll try rebooting to Sierra and see whether that works. Then we'll have a direct comparison of two clean boots. Now here we go. I'm not going to show you this. Okay, I'm not going to show you. Did you see that? No, I don't think you can see that. Okay, it's booting. I got the password correct apparently. But what is it doing here? Where is it doing it? So I want to try rebooting, restart. This time I want to reboot to macOS Sierra instead of High Sierra. I just missed it when I was taking the notes. I missed the boot process. So I missed the selection process of which operating system I was booting. So I need to redo that. It's very slow. When things don't work, everything goes slowly. You have to be meticulous about keeping track of everything too. So these are the units, these are the things I had for the small drive, these screws here. And then there's the screws for the bigger unit, which is still a small unit, but the 2.5-inch drive unit. Compared to the dual unit, I don't know. Yeah, it might be more compatible with Windows than it is with Mac, but I think I've seen it used on a Mac, if I'm not mistaken. It's supposed to be compatible with the Mac. So I don't know what the reason is. I need to think about all the reasons it could be, though. Yeah, well, this is going... I mean, the equipment looks good. It looks very good. It's just it's not working, so I could either... There's no advantage in panicking. I mean, but I could either panic or I can, get down to brass tacks on figuring out what's really happening with the starting to do. It's just I need to look at all more. I do have a Windows computer I can plug it into. Come to think of it, but it doesn't have a monitor. But I could bring one of the monitors out there. I just think that's really sort of not the first thing that one would try, but it is something that I do have that option, and I have another Mac computer running an older version of the Mac OS. It's another thing I could try, but so I have a lot of different options that I could try here, and I don't know what else I could try beyond that. But I mean beyond that in terms of computers. Here we go. I have a lot of things probably I could try. And the only thing really I'm interested in trying are things that are used with this computer. So used with this setup, those are the things I'm interested in trying. Now, but I mean, they're the things that are the most Now I'm booting off an external hard drive. My internet's working. It sees my time capsule. What happened? Okay. Viewfinder window. Pretty good. Yeah, it so far hasn't found it, but it usually finds it later in the sequence, maybe. Also, I'm not running the disk utility at the moment yet. I'm waiting for the dialog box to pop up that tells me that it finds a drive that it's not initialized. That's what I'm waiting for. It's not finding anything. So utilities, disk utility. Let me run disk utility here. It wants to give me updates for Sierra. Okay, we're just, yeah. You can see this. You can see some of it. It's not a very good camera, is it? It's not. It's too bright. Let me turn down that. Maybe if I turn down the brightness, is it a problem? Yeah, it's a problem with this camera here. Let's try system preferences here. Right, and then try displays. Turn down the brightness. How's that look? That's better, eh? Yeah. Well, now I can see it. Looks like I can see on the. Oops. Yeah. Let's see what we can do here. I want to stand the camera up, but I don't want it to be. See now, what can I do? I can do it down like that. That's better. Is it going to be visible if I look at the monitor? See, if I'm looking at the monitor, the camera from the side, I can see it. When I try to sit in front of the camera, it's changing because I'm blocking the light. Maybe it's trying to light me up, and that blocks out the screen. Anyway, there it is. It says okay. The disk you inserted is not readable. Now, what's it going to tell me? Oh, look. Wow, this shows an entirely different set of... Oh, it finds both crucial. Ah, great. Or it finds two of the crucials. One is uninitialized, and one is my initialized drive, I think. But it doesn't see it because it doesn't read that file system. I suppose that's what it is. I've given it a name. Yeah, Crucial 2T SSD. Aha! It's found my existing drive from which I boot High Sierra, and it finds the other Crucial drive uninitialized. It finds it. So if I plug in this other one, I wonder if it'll find it as well. Then I might be able to initialize both of them, or I might have to boot to the recovery system of Sierra, not High Sierra. This is progress. This is great. This is real progress. We've made progress. The drives are not defective or anything. There's nothing. This is great. This is really good. Exactly the type of progress I was hoping for by switching to Sierra instead of High Sierra. It's immense progress. Now the drive was never mounted, so I don't have to eject it. Neither drive was mounted for some reason. Is that correct? Yeah. So neither of my, but the reason the other drive was not mounted was because Sierra cannot mount Apple file system. That's why my existing boot drive on an SSD. I've got, so Doug, it's showing me 2 SSDs. I need to show, okay, my camera fell here. I need to show you this. Okay? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to show you this very easily here, I think. If I turn it around, I won't be able to see it. So what I have to do is I've got to stop this, change the camera, and then I can show you. Okay. So this is what it's showing me, okay? So look at this. It's showing me Crucial with one name. I have a bunch of other drives, but just the 2 Crucial entries, look at them. Crucial and Crucial. Both of these Crucial entries, maybe I need to back up to see it clearly. Both of the Crucial entries are showing, and one of them is, it's giving me the name. It doesn't mount it because you can see the mount button is grayed out, which that might mean it's already mounted, of course. Well, maybe it is mounted, but I don't have an unmount option. So I don't have an option to mount because the mount button is grayed out. I can see it. Maybe you can't see it as clearly as I can. But I tried to click it. It doesn't mount. So this Crucial here that I've got highlighted, I'm clicking the mount. It doesn't mount. It's still showing me a grayed out mount button here. And when I can't unmount it, so it's not mounted. It would say unmount if I could unmount it. That mount button becomes an unmount if it's mounted. So I know that that is not mountable, and that's probably because I know what that drive is. It's called Crucial 2T SSD, which is my 2 terabyte boot disk drive for, or boot SSD drive for High Sierra. I know that drive. It knows the size of it. It says 2.05 terabytes. Right there, SATA. It's not a very good camera, is it? Can't focus on that, I guess, from that distance. It'll be good enough. I'll try to sharpen it later. Now, but then if I click on the other second drive, the interesting thing is, look, the second one, it says uninitialized. The first one, it says external physical disk, SATA. Doesn't say what file system it is, but I know it's Apple file system. But if I look here, file system, what does it say? I'm trying to read it. It doesn't give a file system. It has no knowledge of the file system. Solid state 2.05, 2 is the child count. Device disk 4. Smart status is verified. GUID partition map. Connection is SATA. And the location is external. So, I mean, all of those things, none of them tell me that it's APFS file system. But the second one, it says partition map not supported. Because I haven't yet formatted this drive. It's uninitialized. Can't mount the drive, but I can click on erase and see what happens. So I say erase. Now I don't want these external. I cannot use Apple file system. Okay, cannot use Apple file system because I'm running. I don't want to. I don't think either. But I'm running Sierra here. I'm not running High Sierra, so I got to switch the camera. There we are. Now I can't run, I can't format using Apple file system when I'm running Sierra. So I mean that's can only be done in High Sierra, I believe. I'm pretty sure of that, but we can try. But I don't want to. So I'm going to say erase. I'm going to call it Crucial data 2T SSD1 or something like that. I need some hyphens there, I think. It's just ridiculous. Crucial data dash 2T maybe? Or no, it can all be one word. SSD1. So that's my thing now. It's going to be Mac OS extended journaled. But if I look at the options, it doesn't give an option for APFS. So I was right about that. That's what I thought. I want Mac OS extended journaled. That's the type I want for my... Now let me start recording. Let me record the screen here. That's what I should have been doing all along here. QuickTime. Right? Let's run QuickTime and say new screen recording. Right? Then we'll be able to see. Okay, good. That's it. Screen recording. I'm recording the screen now, right now. Right now. Okay, good. Here we go. I'm recording the screen. This is what I've got. Now I can show you. I better show you the devices first. So let me save this name so I can paste it in later. Let's go back. I'm looking at the first device. I want to show you that I'm recording the screen. If I look at the top, I have the stop button. So I know I'm recording the screen. I'm going to have to run though in a minute here. I gotta do some other things and I'll come back. Okay, I'm going to stop this. So let's start this again. Yeah, I'm starting it again now. I'm back. So I need to explain what I'm really doing here, what my purpose is of doing this way.